Today we're back once again with the crop report, and with me as always is our crop extension specialist for the government of Saskatchewan, Matt Struthers. And so thank you so much for being with me today once again, Matt. And how has it been for you over this winter and starting off here in the spring?
It's been good. It's been good getting back in the flow of things with the crop report, and I'm looking forward to a really good year. Very optimistic for it, and I think we're starting out great. I know we're a little bit delayed, but that shouldn't be too much of a worry.
So looking at the crop report, you guys said that the seeding season is a little bit behind across a good portion of the province. What are the main reasons for those delays for seeding to start up here in Saskatchewan?
Well, the main delay was April just wouldn't warm up for us. It was a cold month, lots of snow still sticking around. We had that late spring storm that came through the south half of the province, and it's really tough to get out there and seed when there's snow out there, let alone moisture and also some cold soil. So producers just had to sit tight and wait. A lot of them were just prepping their equipment, ready to go the second they could, and now they're finally able to get that chance. And it's a little bit of an odd year since the Northwest is leading the charge with seeding, and the South is trying to play catch up. But give them a couple of days of warm weather, and they'll be out there in the fields in no time. The Southeast and the East Central, the two parts of the province that have the most moisture still sitting in some of their low areas, they're going to be a little bit slow compared to the rest of the regions. But again, that's more of a typical thing that they experience.
So you mentioned the Northwest being a bit more on schedule. That's where the Lloydminster is and our area here. Why has it been so quick to turn around here in Lloydminster, and that our farmers have been able to get out in the fields and start seeding?
So up in the Northwest, and many producers up there didn't get the heavy snowfall, and some of the other parts of the province did. So it was just easy to get out there because the snow wasn't there. And then two, it started to warm up there a little bit earlier. And then three, they didn't get that late snowfall that the South did that really hampered a lot of operations. Usually down here in the South, mid-April, a lot of guys will get out going. And by the beginning of May, they'll be close to finished, and that's kind of the reverse this year. The North, or the Northwest at least, got started just about the same time, if not earlier than the South. So no, conditions look good. I know up in the Northwest there are some pockets that are dry. They have the moisture for seeding, and that should allow for good germination. But beyond that, they're going to need some rains for sure. So hopefully the heavens open up and they get something.
And so, Matt, let's talk a little bit about the moisture content across the province. In the southern parts of Saskatchewan, they did get a good snow right in April there. How much is that helping them? And then how much rain are we going to just kind of need for across the province? I know you're not a weatherman, but how is it looking for the spring and summer to get that rain that we might need here in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, you're right. I'm not a weatherman, but we did have, when I compare this spring to the last two springs we had in 21 and 22, I know last year in the East, things were really wet, but the Southwest and the West Central was still very dry last year. This year we're seeing, improvements across the whole province, even into the West there, with topsoil moisture, and a large portion of that comes from that snowfall that we had, and that late one, that late snowfall where the snow, or the soil, was already exposed, and then that was able to melt right into the soil rather than run off earlier on in the season where it would have. So it's really good to see. And then for livestock producers, we had a good runoff this year, good dugout recharge for the most part. There are some spots that didn't get that recharge, and they'll have to figure out their water situation going forward, and they'll certainly need those rains. But as of right now, most producers are sitting in a good spot. And then, like I said, there are pockets that are still very dry, but they do have the moisture enough for germination. And yeah, like I said, the rain just needs to fall when it needs to fall. And we, like you said, you don't lose a crop early in the year. It's later on in July when that happens. So we need the moisture in June here coming up, and then also in July. So like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I could tell you.
And so, Matt, are there any worries about delays for the province of Saskatchewan and the government's outlook as well about just people not being able to get into the fields as early as they'd like? Is that going to affect yields, or is it all going to be good for the growing season this year?
Know that it's a bit delayed, but that's no problem. We've been here before in the past. The crop will get in. There might be some spots of the Southeast and East Central regions that are just too wet. Those large bodies of water that just take too long to dissipate. Those areas might go unseeded, but it'll make up a very small percentage. So very optimistic for the year, and we'll see where she goes in the coming weeks.
Thank you so much for the report, Matt, and we will definitely have you on very soon for the next crop report.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Talk to you soon.